pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I do want to apologize to all you people that were expecting an 8:30 meeting this morning, and I was too. And when we got the school delay, there's a bus driver that was going to be gone, and I didn't find out about it until basically way late Friday afternoon, and I needed to learn that route. And in any event, basically the only way the thing was going to really work was I was going to have to be late this morning. And again, I want to apologize to all you people that were here at 8:30 and didn't expect the school to be a 2-hour delay. We have an agenda in front of us. The county engineer will not be here. He's at Worth County looking at motor graders. Is there any other additions, corrections, deletions?
Julie, you indicated you'd like to slide up a little bit.
I can, but I can wait too, that's okay, so whatever works.
Okay, well, we'll try and rush this through, then we'll just leave you in
Yeah,
your
that's fine.
spot where you're at. I move to approve the agenda.
Second. It's been moved and second. Further discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Approved minutes of the February 11th meeting. Steve, did you have a chance to look them over?
Yes, I did, and I guess I didn't see anything or catch anything that was out of whack, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for February 11th meeting.
And I'll second that. It's been moved and second. Further discussion. Hearing none. Roll call vote. Smollett?
Aye.
Walk. Aye. Motion carried. County Attorney, general discussion.
That first thing we've got is that approved new lease for Otranto fishing access. I've sent copies to you, but just so the general public understands that Mitchell County now has a lease with Sarah Osmondson on her property, which provides access to the Otranto Dam area. That lease is set to expire in a few years, 8 years, 10 years, whatever it is. She's selling that property, and what she proposes to do is say, okay, let's cancel that lease that's now in existence there. I will give you a permanent easement for access to that dam area prior to selling the property. So what it amounts to is we get a permanent easement rather than just a temporary one, which is going to expire in a few years. It's forever. Mitchell County in exchange had to make the area just a little bit smaller. I reviewed this with Adam. Adam's reviewed it with his board. His board approved it at a meeting. But I need the Board of Supervisors to approve that so that Barb can actually sign the agreement when she's here.
Well,
The only question I had, and I realized it probably was just, should it have been Mitchell County and Mitchell County Conservation Board, just because of the way some of this stuff.
If you look at the code actually says the Conservation Board can own real estate, but in the county's name. So, yeah, I don't see any reason.
No, that was the only question I had.
Yeah, they understood it. They went over this and they understood. You know, I told them to approve it before you guys would even look at it, because I didn't want you guys to approve it if they didn't approve it. So they have approved it already. So.
okay.
Well, Barb isn't here. Normally, we don't want to do things without all three of us on something, but on this type of thing, I would think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I'll move that we sign the new lease on the old train.
It's actually an easement agreement.
An easement agreement?
With Sarah Osmondson.
Okay, sign an easement agreement with Sarah Osmondson.
And I will second that. It's been moved and second. Further discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Smalley.
Aye.
Locke, aye. Motion carried. Then the abatement of taxes for the city of McIntyre, do we want to leave that for next week?
I think we do.
Okay,
Yeah, just for your reference, and I sent everybody an email, I was down here for quite a while at the last meeting. By the time I'd gone up there, Shannon had already talked to Amy, and Amy says, in this situation, I do not have a problem with the board abating taxes since the town did not have income coming in on the property. What she says is, I don't like abating taxes when there's income coming in. You know, there's income there to pay the taxes, she doesn't like to abate them in that situation. So she did not have a problem at all with the county abating the taxes, and which was the agreement with, I just didn't know if we could legally do it or not. So,
Okay, I still think you'll wanna have it
yes,
Okay.
for another meeting. I have something more to add to this, but
Okay.
I will do it at that meeting.
right, I mean, and again, I think it's only right that, things like this that are controversial, that we try to have all three board members, and, that way we don't have something going on.
Yeah.
Yep, so we'll put on for next week, Lowell.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Do you wanna drop down to item 8, the cancer policy presentation?
If Julie's ready.
I'm ready. Do you just sit, I can just do it here. You know, we've done Aflac here for over 20 years and have great participation. However, I have been researching and I have picked up another product, it's called Cigna, which is the rated #1 cancer policy in the United States right now. It's a lump sum product, it goes between $10,000 and $100,000. So if somebody gets diagnosed with cancer, they get whatever amount
Thanks,
they
Mark.
picked, 10 to 100,000. The thing I like about it is it's a one-time payment. People don't have to turn in bills every month. They don't have to, when they're struggling being sick, the way, you know, and they deal with that. Plus, it gives them money to do alternative things. If they want to fly to California for treatment, they have that big cash up front. It's very cheap. People can get $10,000 for $12 a month. We do not pre-tax it because it's a lump sum payment, and we don't pre-tax lump sum payments. But to me, it's a good alternative. You know, Aflac pays so much a month for chemo, so much a month for radiation, whatever the case may be. But people, and again, I love Aflac, so I'm not saying anything negative because I've been selling with Aflac 23 years. We've had it in county for over 20. So I guess the big thing, I'm just asking if we can add this in as an option alongside Aflac, so people have, hey, I like the $50,000. Like myself, I bought a $50,000 policy. So if I got diagnosed with cancer at $50,000, I could pay off bills, I could go get therapy somewhere else. It gives me the cash flow to do what I want to do. But if people start as low as $10,000 and it costs us $12 a month. So they could have, some people don't want to spend that $60, $70 a month on an expensive plan. It gives them a little bit. Some people have chosen to take that $10,000 and add it as a supplement to their other products, so they get a higher first occurrence. So there's so many things they can do with it. Do you guys have any questions on that, or?
Lowell, did you have a chance to study this?
I haven't seen it, but Julia's shared it with me on the phone, so I think it's a good thing to add.
What, have you talked to Shannon about it? I mean, she's kind of watches over a lot of this stuff.
Well, it really don't have anything to do with wellness.
Pardon?
It doesn't have anything to do with wellness,
Well, but I mean, just
but I
trying to
can
get a
share it
feel.
with her.
Certainly, I mean, yeah, because we got till our open enrollment isn't for a few months, but I wanted to give it enough time. But like I said, it is a great option from other groups I've put it in. Like I had a group last week, half the people bought that product over the Aflac product. And again, there's nothing wrong with the Aflac product. This is just a different concept. So it gives you that cash to just give you the freedom to do what you want to do. Plus, the one thing I find with people who have cancer, their biggest struggle is getting all that stuff put together when they're so sick. You know, they always struggle with, oh, I gotta get the paperwork if they're sick or whatever. With this, give us a pathology report and you're done, and then you have your money. And it does build again, so if you get cancer-free, and then you get cancer down the road, it regenerates again, so it pays more out again.
So basically, this is just something that employees can do,
This is at their option.
yeah, at
Right.
their option. I mean, it
Right.
doesn't affect the,
Right, it doesn't affect the county at all, right? Other
I
than,
really have no problem with that. Do you, Steve?
Yeah, I move that we give Julie the privilege to add this cancer policy, the the option of Cigna. So,
Second. It's been moved and second, further discussion.
Now, would you like me to leave a brochure here with Lowell and?
Sure.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none, Smolik.
aye,
Walk, aye, motion carried.
okay, there you go, Julie, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 5, approve procurement policy for disaster funding.
Yeah, Chris Olson brought this over, and the county attorney has reviewed it, and he's thought it looked fine. Something that, he called it more like a common sense policy.
What's your thoughts, Lowell?
I think it's, yeah, it's something that they want the county to have, so just, need to have, the board approve it and sign it.
You feel we need to wait for Barb, or do we?
No, I think this is a no-brainer here.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve procurement policy for disaster funding.
I will second it. It's been moved and second. Further discussion. Hearing none. Smolik?
Aye,
Walk, aye, motion carried. Consideration of permits for building fiber line to Mitchell. Take it, Mr. Burns, that's why you're here.
So, we applied for a USDA grant, to bring fiber to Mitchell. We got the grant, it's 100% funding, which not very many people in the United States got the 100% grant, so we're pretty happy to get notified of that. So, we would need to get permits on the county roads that are from Highway 218 west on 385th Street until you reach the Mitchell city limits. We would need to go from Indigo Avenue south out of Mitchell until you tee into 370th Street. We need to do 370th Street from Kirkwood Avenue to Commercial Street or River Road, kind of transitions right there. Hickory Avenue from the Mitchell city limits to State Highway 9, and then 380th Street from Hickory to Foothill Avenue. And so those are some of the county roads that we will be going on for the fiber project. So it's not just the city of Mitchell, it's the city of Mitchell and surrounding residents. And so part of the USDA grant, it's called a Reconnect grant. There was different point totals that you had to achieve. You had to achieve so many points for farmsteads and so many points for businesses. And then the other part was any sort of governmental properties. So Interstate Park. Right now Interstate Park is actually monitored, the dam is monitored with a satellite internet system. That's really assuring. So we're going to actually put fiber to the Mitchell Dam. We've worked with Adam Shirley on this. So we'll be running fiber as part of that project to the dam so that it's hardwired all the time. We also will need to have permit or permission to hang fiber from the underside of the Mitchell Bridge that goes over the Cedar River. And so I think right now, we actually, in order to get the conservation building, I think we hang fiber underneath the bridge on Highway 9. But that's also a state highway bridge. But then I will need to get permits from the state to be able to go on Highway 218 and just a little bit of Highway 9. We go back towards Steve Rahoot's place and pick him up. So kind of an exciting project for the city of Mitchell. This is a big deal for them. If we hadn't written this grant, there's nobody connecting Mitchell anytime soon. Your Mediacom, CenturyLinks, nobody's going to connect a town that size. So their only hope really was this grant. Works out really well. A couple years ago when we ran fiber from Minnesota to Osage, we intentionally came through Mitchell and put a vault by Fishers there. That vault is going to be the lifeline for all the connectivity through Mitchell. So that's really saving us a ton of cost, is that we already have fiber in the ground there that we just need to tap into. Our timeline is we'll put out the RFP first part of March. winning bid we hope to accept by the first part of April. And then one of my contingencies with these contractors is I want to be the first one to be in the ground and start working this spring. So we have some businesses there that we want to get connected right away. Flashing Thunder is one of them. That's going to be an important one. I mean, they're doing stuff globally, and they can't use their internet and phone system at the same time. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You go into their fireworks display, and they have QR codes on all their different fireworks that you can pull up on your phone and watch the video of what the fireworks do. That's great if you had connectivity in Mitchell. So the tool doesn't even work for them. So there are some businesses, Twisted River Farms, we'd like to get them hooked up soon. He has really grown that business into something unique, and that connectivity will help him. And the county seat, that's another one that really struggles with. I mean, they can't even hardly broadcast TV most of the time. So we got some businesses that we want to get them hooked up right away, and then get all our residents hooked up. So, but we need to get those permits get your permission anyway to go on the county roads, and whatever Rich wants us to do. If on some of the gravel he wants us to go in the shoulder, fine. If he wants us to be in the ditch, fine. It really doesn't matter to us which way he wants us to go. So.
Have you talked to Rich?
No. No.
I mean, normally it's, again, it's just a rubber stamp, but should we give Rich a quick call, or?
I don't think he'll find any issues as long as the road or ditches are put back to the original shape.
Right.
That would be part of this, so.
And so this is this project's a direct bury, and so we literally it will slice a line in the ditch, and it'll direct bury that fiber. Within a week, you won't even know that we're there, other than the grass that's matted down from the tracks on the machine.
I want to forewarn you, at Mostex there, just east of his place, not just 100 foot or so, the limestone is probably so far down, and it is hard. I mean,
Yes.
So,
What we can do, Steve, is we can approve of this subject to Richie Brum approval.
would that be?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
I mean, that's, so
Yep, we're
you
just-
talk to Richie and,
Yep. And we're just getting this process started early. And then we are also working on a grant right now for Orchard. Same grant, they did round 2, so we are working right now on submitting that grant by, I think it's due March 16th. And so that grant would actually get us to connect Orchard, who is just like Mitchell in terms of connectivity. So that would knock out 2 of our smaller communities in Mitchell County that are completely underserved, so.
I make that motion to sign the permit for building fiber line, putting in the fiber line to Mitchell with the approval of Richard Brum, county engineer.
yep, subject to, okay? And we'll second. Been moved and second, further discussion.
I have
Hearing none, Smalling.
none. Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried.
Thank
Item
you.
7, consideration of scoring a master matrix for the burn site. Gentlemen?
You wanna come up and sit in the hot
Kevin,
seat?
Kevin, I don't know if you wanna give any sort of introduction on your project or what you've got going on. Bring it
Well-
in and I can talk about the details of the permit.
This is Kent Kraus and I'm Kevin Burns, and we currently run a 2,450 head unit on Underwood Avenue, just a half mile south of Highway 9. I have 2 sons. One is currently in Ames, lives in the building site south. The one in Ames owns the building site to the north. And we are proposing to put another building up. And I'll be honest with you, I'm 61 and I want to keep some blood in Mitchell County. And he wants to raise pigs, and this is not easy task for him, but it's a good way for him to, I always compare raising pigs to factory work. I've done both. Obviously I was with Steve Thompson there for quite a few years. But anyway, we're proposing another building and we will connect it. So therefore, that bumps us up into the 5,000 hit matrix. And that's why Kent's here. So that's what we're proposing. My 19-year-old's going to NIAC right now for ag business and ag, I believe it's animal. And the other son is currently involved with performance livestock analytics out of entrepreneurs out of Osage, started that company. So without rambling on anymore, I'm proposing approval to put up this other site. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
So details in the permit, second building will be the exact same size and design as the first one. Be 100 feet, 101 feet wide by 193 foot long. They're a deep pit, total slat building, directly underneath the pigs, so the manure is always under roof, never exposed to rain or wind. He'll have, now it'll be a 4,980 head site after expansion. It's projected to produce a little over 1.2 million gallons of manure a year. Kevin has in his manure plan right now 4 fields. Those manure plans are living plans. They can be modified at any time, but currently has 4 fields in the plan with field capacity of about 1.9 million gallons. So plenty of field capacity for the manure that's being generated. And again, they own, rent, and operate all of the land in their plan. Those fields, as they're added to a plan, they're scored and modeled on phosphorus loss to Iowa's waters. It's an 11-step process to get that scoring. It's primarily based on erosion. Phosphorus loss to Iowa's waters is primarily a result of erosion. All 4 of Kevin's fields score in the best of 5 categories as far as stability for phosphorus. So very, very low probability of phosphorus loss to Iowa's waters. So the second part of the equation when you're permitting is we take that site and we evaluate it to its impact in the local community. And there's a scoring that's been developed that evaluates that site and its impact to the local water system, its local air system, and impact to the local community. So again, we're looking at things as far as distance to small water, distance to the big named rivers. From an air perspective, we're looking at separation distances from closest neighbors. And from a community perspective, we're looking at concentration within the community. Just to jump to the end, and then we can talk about the detailed scoring, but there's 880 possible points. He's required to reach 440. It's a pass-fail, what I refer to as an open book test. This site scored 445 points just on what I call pure placement. So it scores really well. He passes the test without having to do a lot of extra things. So again, when I refer to an open book test, there's opportunities in if that site does not score as well to make improvements. So again, whether that would be trees, improved composters. This site's got a turnaround off the gravel road. That's one of the things that adds points to his scoring. So if you'd like, I can go through that detailed scoring. Grady with Iowa DNR, the Mason City Field Office, was out the other day when we did the site visit. Found no issues with the site and didn't have any disagreements with the scoring that we submitted. But I don't want to take extra time. If you have questions, I can go through the detailed scoring.
Again, I was out at the site at the same time. Grady had no issues. He thought it was a well-developed plan and so forth, and I see no reason that we ought to, nobody is here from the public, I don't believe, that wants to question or whatever. So no, if you want to make a motion, Steve, I would second that.
If I may add just a few elements here real quick. We were not initially going to build a double site. We went south. The people we feed for didn't like that location. It was closer to Huffco there. And that's what pushed us up into this other site. Plus, as we all know, it's gonna save us cost, well, digging another well, it's gonna save an office. We will connect a hallway between the two barns. It's a shower in, shower out, and I just also wanted to make it clear that we hire a little help when it comes to load out time, otherwise we'll run the show there, so. It's family owned.
I make a motion to approve, how do we wanna put that, approving the permit?
I always liked it that we're forwarding it to the state with no negative comments. That was always my,
I approve that we forward it to the state with no negative comments.
and I will second that. Been moved and second, further discussion.
Was it 445 points?
It was.
Okay. That asked
Hearing none, Smoley,
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried.
Thanks to Collins.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
Yep.
waiting around, I'm sorry again that
Yeah.
No,
I
that's
had
okay.
to
Not a
hold
problem.
you guys up today, but
I had to juggle up a little busing this morning myself, so. I know what you went through.
yeah, somehow those kids think they gotta get to school, so. County engineer's not gonna be here, so we can drop down the meetings attended.
Okay. I had a meeting with the wellness committee, and they discussed they had $3,633.16 in their balance with carryover. And they discussed the Board of Supervisors signing the agreement the other morning. And the plan for 2020, for us, having meetings will be June and September and October. That is the Wellness Committee. Anyways, discussed that October 31st, we must have our physicals done and our assessments done. And we'll get a $50 bill for doing the assessment and the physical. And then there are some other activities that you can do, and that's on an option, and that's through the pillars, and I won't go into that. Anyways, that was that meeting. I had a meeting with Ballant, I guess that day, Friday. And it wasn't real long. It discussed that having issues with floating solids. And they're going to try and correct that. Discussed the changing of agreements with the permitting with the DNR due to changes in what they're doing in the treatment changes. That'll allow them to get a little bit higher numbers in what's coming out of the plant. Also discuss that Jerry, I can't say his last name, every 6 months sends out a letter to the state. And this has to do with this treatment facility. They also discussed the use of polymers to reduce ammonia, and they're also going to ask for an increase from the DNR on their limit for ammonia. That's going to be a different comment or question to the DNR, and we need to have Barb sign that, the chair, and they're going to try and get in touch with her before they send that letter to the state. And we also are planning on a meeting in Mason City with the Iowa DNR, and Brian and Jerry and I and Jerry Jerry Dunley that's gonna see if we can get some set regs and rules and find out for sure what it takes to become compliant on any further issues in the future. I had another meeting, and that was with the landfill. We discussed the financials of January 2020. We had the director's monthly report, and Joe gave a report. We gotta fix the heater in the haul truck. Didn't quite get it done. They discussed some issues with Heartland Insurance. Moved on, had a discussion on a RFP for auditor, and that was carried. Discussed the fact that 2 employees are gonna attend an 8-hour HHW refresher in Cedar Rapids. And that was carried, allowing them to go. And the GPS system for the track loader was discussed that they didn't know for sure if they really needed it. So we're kind of sit back and table that for a while. Moving on, they discussed decision, well, the scales are 29 years old out there, and apparently the parts are not available to the scale that's underneath the slab. So the motion was made to get bids to see what it would cost to replace the scale out there. And their thinking is that it's, even though the scale's a floating scale concrete pad with a pit, that's probably gonna all have to be tore out. And a different type of an above ground scale put in, probably something similar to what Falk has at the quarries. Anyways, motion to get bids, that was approved. They also discussed the approval of a haul road grading and drainage project, and they were gonna change the road by moving it, and they're putting some new rock down on the new road. And this would not cause us to lose any ground for the landfill. And motion to gather information on an estimate for that, and that was passed. Old business, Doug Can discussed on the generator update that all that's left is to hook up the tank to the generator, put in a line, and it'll be running. And the company will test run, and we'll go from there. Other than that, that's the end of that meeting. So.
Okay, and I had county conservation. We've already discussed the easement that they spent a little time on. And they also have an opportunity to buy another parcel of land that basically would be a cost of about $1 million. And they are trying to work on that. They feel that they may be able to pull that one off. It would be a good parcel. I believe it's around Stacyville again. I didn't bring a copy of that along with me. I did send in our DNR grant for trying to get the demolition of the old county care facility. I think it looks really good. You never know how those things are going to score with, you know, how many people and so on and so forth. But I want to thank the city of Mitchell for helping us on being the sponsor of that grant. And then last week we got our rating again from Standard & Poor's. And once again, we got an A+ rating. And so for the last 12 years, the one item on the wall back there shows that we have an A+ rating. This basically is explaining that Standard & Poor's feel that our county is well run. It's been well run for 12 years. And also talking to Jeff Heil. Over the next 20 years, we still have a potential of having $37 million worth of TIF revenue that we can use for the benefit of the people here at Mitchell County. So, like I say, we're in really good shape. I'm really proud of all the work in that a lot of people have done to keep Mitchell County, like I say, financially, and we're in very good shape. So, that basically was my meetings. Manure management plan updates?
Just one, Schroeder Hog Farms, 361 340th Street, Elma.
Thank you, Auditor Tesh. Public comments. Does anybody from the public? Randy, you got any comments? Yeah, no?
No, I knew.
Steve, you got any comments? Well, since we operated our Mitchell County rules,